It's Showdown Saturday on NFL Primetime. Time for the Jaguars' long-awaited chance to prove they are the league's best. Fred Taylor and Jimmy Smith want to turn on the afterburners against the Fish. Would Dan and the Dolphins see it all slip away? In the NFC, the first playoff game ever at the new Sombrero. Warren Sapp and the Gulf Warriors hope to pound Brad Johnson and the Redskins, while Stephen Davis hopes to be a warrior on the warpath again. Find out who's moving on. NFL Primetime next. It's a special Saturday edition of NFL Primetime Divisional Playoffs. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson, dressed Floridian because all three Florida teams playing, 2 games at home. And, boy, that second one, Tom. Wow.
Great game.
Wow.
Great game.
Wow.
Great defense. I missed that.
Yes. A lot of people missed that, but we're going to get to that. Wow. What a fourth quarter that was. Meanwhile, the day began in Jacksonville. The newest entry from the Sunshine State is the Jaguars, 14-2, the best record in the NFL, hosting the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, hot off an upset at Seattle last week. Dan Marino engineered yet another fourth quarter comeback, so this in his 18th playoff game. Would maybe Marino and the Dolphins become Elway and the Broncos? Would they be the Cinderella story that everyone was rooting for? Would this be Marino's last game if he lost? Would it be Jimmy Johnson's last game if he lost? Lots of questions. As for the Jaguars, 14-2, but they've beaten nobody with a winning record. What about their questions? Were they for real? Tell you what, they answered most everything in a hurry that they needed on their questionnaire. As for Marino and Johnson, could they keep it going? Or would we have decisions to make tonight on the ride home? And would Mark Brunell, playing with a hobbled knee, be healthy? Jags playing without Tony Baselli. First series, Jacksonville gets the kickoff. Slant to Jimmy Smith. Oh, by the way, the best-kept secret in football, he led everybody with 116 catches this year. He had 136 yards receiving today. 6 plays later on 3rd and 7. Brunell, and look at the time he has, Tom, as he finds Smith, touchdown, 7-0.
Yeah, throwing from inside the red zone, had 4 or 5 seconds to throw the football, find a receiver, too much time given by the Miami Dolphins.
So here comes Dan Marino. First play of the game on offense for the Dolphins. And it's Aaron Beasley. It's Mrs. Beasley. He makes the pick and sets up a Hollis field goal, 10-0 Jacksonville. Beasley continuing his big-time season. Next Dolphins possession on 3rd and 3. Marino. What? Dan 0 for his first 7 passes. With the score still 10-0 later in the first on 2nd and 9. Brunell to Fred Taylor, his own 10. 1 miss. 2 misses. And then Brock Barron, he's the only man that can catch him. But he turns into Maid Marian. And Jimmy Smith ensures it. Look at him come to block. Could go all the way. The longest playoff run ever. Touchdown or any variety. 90 yards. Fred Taylor, 17-0 Jags.
This play is all about the excellence of Fred Taylor. The first miss by Calvin Jackson, then Patrick Surtain coming up. Robert Jones going to come up, have a chance to make the play, and then Brock Marion on the chase. And you see the speed of Fred Taylor once he gets behind the defense.
Wrap him up, says Jimmy. You got to wrap him up. But it was the Jacksonville Jaguars that were wrapping this up before the Dolphins knew what hit him. Hit by Tony Brackens as Marino. It's a fumble. Now this is bizarre. Brackens hasn't been touched. Don't celebrate, run! And then there's Donnelly with a 2-hand touch. Run, says Bryce Pop. Run! Oh, by the way, it's a touchdown. 24-0.
We take another look at this. We're going to see Tony Brackens as he gets this ball. The ball is out now. Great play by him. Picks it up. He's down on the ground. He felt somebody. And look at Bryce Pop. Nice presence of mind to get Brackens headed toward the end zone.
The Dolphins have allowed 197 yards of total offense in the first quarter. That's more than the whole game last week to the Seahawks. But it would get worse. 24-0. Brunell to Fred Taylor. Nice defense, and then when they get somebody to him, nice tackling. 31-0 as Taylor makes mincemeat of the Dolphins, Tom. Is there anybody here?
And possibly the worst job of tackling we've seen on a single play. Watch here, Sean Wooden, then Sam Madison. That's Sean Wooden right there. Sam Madison going to come up, have a chance at the play. Patrick Surtain coming from the inside. And then Jason Taylor going to miss this play right there. Good hustle by Wooden. He's going to come back and miss him twice right there at the 3-yard line.
it would still get worse for Jimmy Johnson. ESPN's Tommy Hutton fumbles a snap, blocked by Corey Chamblin. Chris Howard's going to fall out. Look at Chamblin. Shazam, shazam. That sets up a 3rd and 14 from the 25 for the Jags. Time for little man Stewart, Jimmy Stewart. Wonderful, wonderful run. 25 yards, 38-0. We've only played 18 minutes. Next Miami possession. Beasley with his 2nd pick of the half. And so Mark Brunell, who was playing wobbly with a 38-point lead, they give him a rest. Take the day off. Jay Fiedler comes in from
Dartmouth.
And Fiedler was on the roof immediately. 16 yards to McCardell. They do miss a field goal, but at 38-0, what could go worse? This could go worse. Autry Denson, it's a lateral. My God, we should know the rule now. It's a lateral. Donovan Darius recovers for the Jags.
And you always assume that it's a lateral. Autry Denson here, obviously behind the passer as he throws the ball. And then the effort right here as you watch him move toward the football and for some inexplicable reason slows down right at the end, allows Jacksonville to get on top of it.
So this time Marino to J.J. Johnson. The short pass and Carnell Lake just steals it. My God, they've turned it over every way that you can design it, Tom.
Carnell Lake been doing this his entire career. Great job. Can't make the tackle. Picks the ball out, and then look at the athleticism right there to pick it out of midair. Another turnover for the Jags.
So this is Excedrin headache number 1 through 100. Meanwhile, tradition. It's Damon Shetton, a 12-yard gain on the pass from Fiedler on the roof, 41-0. Later in the second, you know what? Did they know? Did they know that the Jaguar fans said this would be goodbye, Dan, and they knew. And goodbye here. He gets hit hard after the throw. He hung in to try to make something happen, but it was, oh my God, it was just such a negative spiral. Marino to Aronde Gatson, which keeps our Jim Kelly in the book. His Bills led 41-3 in the 90 AFC Championship game. That touchdown makes that today's performance only the 2nd biggest lead at the half, although 41 points ties a record. Heward came in after Marino played 1 series in the 3rd quarter. Meanwhile, Fiedler to Jimmy Smith. It's 70 yards. It's 48-7. Later in the 3rd, Fiedler conducts another touchdown pass to Alvis Whitted. 38 yards. It's 55-7. And then a little symphony, please, because the Dolphins were wet. The commissioner, well, Commissioner Tagliabue knows that the Jacksonville fans may never see a day like Autry Denson fumbles again. Is this a joke? Donovan Darius recovers. Tommy Hutton doesn't even try it. Schmengi recovers. 62-7. Marino and Johnson had not words negative, but had a lot to talk about on the sidelines and afterwards. And look, a loss is a loss, but no one ever imagined that a game could go like this. For Jacksonville at 14-2, they may have been laying in the weeds the whole year if they can do this, as the Jags have scored the 2nd most points ever in the postseason, slicing and dicing their rivals from the southern part of the state, 62-7. Afterwards, coach and quarterback of the Dolphins explain their discussions.
I guess it's thanks full circle. I was on the other side of one of these where we got about 7 takeaways from an opponent in the Super Bowl, and it was a runaway. But I've never been on this side before.
Coach Johnson at halftime, said that he wanted to maybe put Damon in because of the circumstances in the game, and I asked him if I could have another shot, and didn't go so well. So that was very fair of him.
We blew these guys out. We played pretty well. We got a lot of turnovers, and we capitalized off the turnovers.
I mean, you think about it. It's just like one of those days. Anything that could have went wrong, went wrong.
And a lot went right for the Jaguars. 520 yards in total offense. The Dolphins committing 7 turnovers. Brunell was out, Tom, with the score 38-0. At that time, Marino had been picked twice. He had no completions. He had the fumble that was returned for a touchdown by Brackens. So, and now here's Miami, who has, in the last 2 years in this round, they lost to Denver last year, 38-3, and now at Jacksonville, 62-7. First of all, for Jacksonville.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Well, I think we talk about near perfect execution on both sides of the football. Offensively, they were able to run the football at will. Fred Taylor putting up the longest run from scrimmage in postseason history. The quarterback, Mark Brunell, did an outstanding job when he was in the game. Even though he only had to throw 9 passes, completed 5, he will get a chance to rest going into the championship round. Defensively, they created turnovers. They won the battle of special teams. They did everything right. They are a very good team, and then the other team didn't do very much right.
Well, Miami knew that not everything had to go right, but obviously turnovers, forget about it. I mean, they knew they were operating with limited offense. They ran for only 21 yards, and now you saw where they were the 6th seed. Tom.
Well, the 2 things quickly that they talked about when I talked to them this week, number 1, we cannot fall behind quickly. We have to be able to run the ball, and we cannot turn the ball over. And when Dan Marino threw that first interception on the first pass, he just had a bad feeling about the way things were going to go for the Dolphins.
Jimmy Johnson has a press conference scheduled at 11 a.m. on Sunday. That was scheduled win or lose, but maybe we'll have some word forthcoming. We'll have that on NFL Countdown, and, of course, we'll cover that live for you at 11 a.m. And, oh, by the way, 29-3 the last 32 games at Alltel Stadium. The Jaguars are hosting the AFC Championship game, no matter who wins on Sunday. As we go inside the numbers, a little history for you here. In 1940, Bill Osmanski and the Chicago Bears of Sid Luckman, the only team to score more than the Jags did today. 73-0 whitewash that the Bears laid on the Redskins in 1940, the only time that anyone had scored more than the Jags, 62 points today. The Lions in the 57 championship game now fall to 3rd.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. Log on to ESPN.com for more Inside the Numbers.
When we return, would defense of the Bucs lead to another victory? Or would the NFC's leading rusher, Stephen Davis, keep the Redskins machine rolling? Sunday NFL Countdown at 11:30 a.m. We'll tell you what happened in the Miami press conference, and then NFL Primetime. Sunday night, we'll know who's going to the championship games and the matchup to hit. Yes, we get fun. Speaking of fun, the late game, an old-fashioned game in the new sombrero. Bucs skins to the wire. Of division winners in the NFC, the late game on Florida's Gulf Coast between the Eastern champion Redskins and the Norris Division champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Washington came in the 2nd highest scoring team in all of football behind the magical St. Louis Rams. Tampa Bay came in with certainly over the last 3 years, statistically true, and argument, obviously, the best defense in the National Football League. The Bucs play it close to the vest, and they have danger that they can't score points and they fall behind. If Washington got a big lead, could Tampa possibly come back with a rookie quarterback making only his 6th start? A reminder that no one circles the galleons like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. From the new sombrero, the first playoff game there ever. Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, and the defense, the Gulf Warriors, trying to stop Stephen Davis, the NFC's leading rusher, who played very well with a gimpy ankle, but it was Sapp, sacking Brad Johnson early, knocking the Skins out of field goal range. Second quarter, first possession, Skins. Stephen Davis. It's a fumble, but Sapp suffers a gash on his left shin, little knee injury briefly. Looked bad, but he did return. Late in the second quarter, it's 3-0 Skins. Sapp against the veteran Keith Sims. Here he pulls up lame, and maybe the Bucs would lose the AP Defensive Player of the Year. Heads to the locker room, would return in the second half. Skins lead 3-0 at the half. Beginning of the third quarter, and this is what Tony Dungy feared. Brian Mitchell, as good as there is in this business at this. Second half kickoff. Grammatica, incorrect. He could go all the way. The longest kickoff return in playoff history. 10-0 13-0 Redskins.
Brian Mitchell has great instincts for where the hole is on a kickoff return, on a punt return. You see him here, he's going to hit the hole, and then once he sees Grammatica, the kicker, look at the great stiff arm, doesn't allow himself to go out of bounds, stays in, gets the touchdown.
So now Sean King, the rookie, grew up across the bridge, the Howard Franklin Bridge in St. Petersburg. He's picked off by Darryl Green, who was playing in the playoffs when King was only 6 years old back in 1983. That sets up a 48-yard field goal by Conway. It's 13-0 Washington. Patience all day by Washington. I like what they did. They went for the jugular, but it backfired. John Lynch, Pro Bowl safety, picks off the pass for Brad Johnson as the Skins were looking to put it away. And all of a sudden, the Bucs were energized. Ensuing drive, King to Warwick Dunn between defenders, 16 yards and a first down. 2 plays later, King looking for Dunn again. Pass interference on Neiman Evans. First down, Bucs at the 11. Now 2nd and 1 from the 1. Mike Allstott. Blow the A-train. Touchdown. 13-7. The Bucs are back in the game.
Well, great job of redirecting the run, but you see the strength and the power of Mike Allstott here. He gets grabbed there by 3 Redskins. He's able to keep his feet moving, turn the opposite corner on the left side, and get into the end zone.
There are guys on this defense, you don't even know their names, but Steve White played a big game and forces a fumble. Warren Sapp falls on the ball, and the Bucs defense has given the offense a chance. On 3rd and 3, pressure by the Skins. King backs out, spins out. Fumble! But it's like they diagrammed it. The holy roller in the 99 playoffs. Warwick Dunn swims upstream for a first down.
Yeah, and what great awareness by Warwick Dunn. You need your great players to come up with great plays. Warwick Dunn comes up with the biggest first down of this football game, picking up that fumble by Sean King.
Now it's 4th and 1. Do you go for the sure field goal? No! Tony Dungy gambles, and it's Allstott. As the Skins stack up the middle, he went off tackle. 3rd and goal from the 1. Sean King, it's a touchdown to tight end John Davis. And the cannons on the galleon go off. The Skins thought they had him wrapped up, but it's now 14-13 Tampa Bay. 3 minutes left. Washington dormant on offense all second half. But here's Brad Johnson to Larry self-centered. First down. Johnson, the swing pass to Skip Hicks into Buccaneer territory. 11 yards, first down. Same drive. Centers up the middle, 8 yards. All of a sudden, the Skins clicking. 3rd and 3. Hicks stuffed for no gain. 4th down. 51-yard field goal try for Brett Conway. Bucs call a timeout. Tony Dungy, Norv Turner. Look, Brad Johnson to hold. But Dan Turk snap is poor. Johnson, the presence of mind to try to make a play. But obviously nobody thinking about it. It's incomplete. Incomplete. And the Bucs take over.
Yeah, you take a closer look at the snap from Dan Turk there. Watch the ball come out. It comes out on the ground. You see Brad trying to get it up in the air. He finally gives up on it and attempts to make a play. Just wasn't to be.
So the Redskins, valiant, but the Bucs, down 13-0, have now made NFC playoff teams in the 90s who have a bye 18-1 by the skin of their teeth. The Bucs beat the Redskins 14-13. Afterwards, just another day at the office for the Buccaneers, who are used to playing games exactly like this.
This certainly wasn't artistic and it wasn't pretty, but one of the best wins I've been involved with. I think the biggest thing you can say about our guys is they play with a lot of heart, and they don't give up.
Every game this year has been a tight game. We haven't blown anyone out other than the one we got blown out in Oakland. And I think that serves us well in these playoffs. We're used to playing in tight games. We're used to coming from behind, and this team's got a ton of fight in it.
It should be noticed that the last 5 home games for Tampa Bay, they trailed at the half in all of them. It was just 3-0 here, though they were down 13-0. They trailed in the Green Bay game, the Detroit game, the Minnesota game, and the Atlanta game. and they won them all. They held the NFC's leading ball carrier to 37 yards, and the Bucs defense, could you play any better than that, Tom, in the second half?
Well, when you point out that they have that ability to come from behind, it points to me great character by this defense. Today was a day when they were pinned in their own territory, deep in their own territory for much of the game. They suffered through some turnovers by the quarterback position, some fumbles. They were able to maintain their character, and I think that they have such a strong will when it comes to winning a football game and not quitting.
I applaud Norv Turner's game plan because he knew that if he threw it, then maybe there would be turnovers, and they were patient. They were patient. They were patient. They went for the
So they got 13 up.
I don't think that was a bad move.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It just didn't work.
Turned out to be a bad move.
It didn't work. So Sean King did something that Dan Marino, Bernie Kosar, and Jim Everett could not do. A rookie quarterback starting in the playoffs since the merger. He's only the second one to win, joining Pat Hayden. When we come back, game balls. Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars have about 45 candidates, and the Bucs have at least 11. We'll be back.
My game ball boomer goes to Fred Taylor. 18 carries, 135 yards, a touchdown, 39-yard TD reset. All those numbers tell you he played pretty good today in a tough situation.
Tommy, my game ball goes to the Gulf Warriors defense. It allowed only 26 yards in the second half. It gave up really only 3 points all day, and the reason the Bucs are moving off because on defense, they fire the gun. When we return, we'll set you up for tomorrow. NFL Primetime continues.
NFL Prime Time is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save.
Games tomorrow, this is going to be run and gun like UNLV against Loyola Marymount. The Vikings at St. Louis. If the Rams win, they'll host the Bucs at a rematch of the '79 title game. Tennessee at Indianapolis. If Tennessee wins, they go to Jacksonville. They're the only team that's won at Jacksonville in the last 2 years. We'll be back. Jags and Bucs moving on, although they did it totally differently, Tom.
Well, and we saw how mentally tough both of those football teams are.
The Jags outgained the other three teams combined, by the way, who all played today. Jags and Bucs are two half of the championship game puzzle. Join us tomorrow where we'll see you for the rest. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching.
The most beautiful...